Shalom, shalom, everyone. Shalom, shalom. Happy Mother's Day, and all of that. Brother Barnes.
Peace, y'all. Peace and blessings to everybody. Happy Mother's Day to the mothers out there. Um, it's that Mother's Day. But this is intellectual dialogue, so you know where we coming from. You know how we coming with it. And but we definitely want to definitely want to give them flowers to the moms out there, man. It's a hard job, man. This is a rough place, you know what I'm saying? And don't nobody come with, well, I can't say don't nobody come with instructions, but thanks to the Most High, we do have a little bit of help. You know what I mean? Some instructions. But we're gonna drop this topic. Boom, boom. What's a good mother parenting? I want to open this up right with two things. Right? And these things are from the Bible, right? These are scriptures. Um, so this first one, right? This is Deuteronomy, uh, chapter 6, verse 7, and it says, "And thou," this is King James version with the Apocrypha, "and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children." Now he's talking about the words, right? Because in verse 6 he says, "And these words." I'll start from verse 6. I'm sorry. This is Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 6 and 7. "And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart." Now 7 is where the juice is. "And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children. And thou shalt talk to them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up." Right? And okay, and so, and also it says, it goes on further to say, that these great godly cities, right, should honor these women. Right now, that's one, and the second one is a Proverbs that I want to say. Right, this is Proverbs 31, I believe. Right, yeah, this is Proverbs 31. Okay, and I'm sorry, give me one
What's the
second.
verse?
Yeah, Proverbs 31, about, it's towards the end, about, okay, 27, start 27 ish.
Okay, Proverb.
Right, she looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. Right, so these are hard working women, right? Not that eateth not the bread of idleness, right? We take not to being idle. "Her children arise and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praiseth her." Right, now 29 is, "Many daughters has done virtuously, but thou excellest them all." Right, so this whole Proverbs 31 is fire, but I'm not going to get into it like that and turn this into a Bible study. But I just brought those two verses out to say, just to show the importance of the mother and to the transition of manhood and womanhood through us all. You know what I'm saying? Everything is cultivated. Life is cultivated in that womb. You know what I'm saying? So that job is immensely important. You know what I'm saying? As far as making the bread and doing the work and all that they say the father's responsibility is you know what I'm saying? Is important, but the most important work, especially right now with the situation that we in as a people, man, is parenting. So, that's my take on it. But hope we have a few females that could tap in, a few women want to tap in and tap in and give y'all takes on it. But yeah, I'll just open like that, bro. If you want to tap some.
Yeah, and indeed, man. I definitely believe that women are an essential factor when talking about building a community and or raising a child or building a nation. The women are essential figures in this. I mean, ultimately, whether we talking about antiquity or we even talking about nowadays, regardless of the fact is, our women do ultimately spend the most time with our children. So it's to them to lead the way with instilling morals and values in them. For whatever particular doctrine a person studies under, is irrelevant. But the mere fact is, we all parents, all mothers, their duty number one should be to nourish that child and to nourish them mentally and emotionally and spiritually, to raise them up that way, and then a man can add to it and build upon that foundation. So as a collective, as a group. So it's very important for our women to understand that the value of their value is especially the value of a black woman. They really, you can't even put a number on it. When you got a good mother like your mother, for instance. Me knowing your mother, how she put in work, how the sacrifices she made to make a way for you and your sister.
Mm-hmm.
So and for other mothers out there as well that made the same sacrifices. Every man and woman can attest that we all have mothers who put in that work, even if it wasn't our direct line of mother. More times a grandmother step up. So no matter
Right.
what,
Yeah,
just
very
showing
true.
the proof and evidence that women, is an essential role in our community and our society, and
Mm-hmm.
and it is on them to want more and demand more from our men.
True.
I remember last couple shows ago, you said you was talking about how in the garden Eve came to, on the garden Eve came to, excuse me, the serpent came to Eve, and I said and I responded with more times than not it's the men who it's us, meaning men today, as in men of antiquity, who was the serpents who led the women astray and didn't lead them correctly. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and so I
Lost
just
men.
asked if you had
Mhm.
anything on that.
Yeah, and that's a fact, man. Those right now, that's a really cool, that's a really dope analogy, man. And it's interesting, but right, those lost brothers, man, because you know those women, as opposed to when it comes to regards of following your man, it should be following a sent man. But once you following these lost men and these men that's possessed, you know what I mean? Damn near. Then you know what I mean. That's definitely they're the serpents, man, and they're gonna put the worst ideas in your head, man. So yeah, they are. See how a lot of brothers, man, is operating like serpents, man, right now, doing the serpent's work, man, being possessed by the serpent and carrying his message, essentially.
Indeed, indeed, and somewhere we lost. I remember, when we was growing up in the '80s, man, women were shooting, they were obtaining or reaching to be a good wife, to be a good mother, to be a good caretaker, regardless of whether they was into, corporate America or not, or any type of business, that whatever their job was, that still didn't stop them from reaching to be a good wife or a good husband, to partake in that covenant with a man to be married, and
Right.
nowadays is the value of our women. The white supremacy, its media has its propaganda wing has the value our sisters. The most important aspect of our women, they devalued it to nothing. Which is the woman's womb, which is the black woman's womb, which is the most important commodity of all commodities, and they brought it down to zero. Like look at Cardi B's and these women promoting sexuality to our daughters. You know what I'm saying? To our little 10, 12-year-old daughters. Like, it's cool to
They got a song. They got a song. I think it's Jasmine Sullivan, right? It's her new bang I be hearing on the radio all the time. These something like these hoes be winning. She's singing about how the hoes be winning and how a man is turning her into a hoe now. She just want to be a hoe now because the hoes is winning. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. Like, yeah. So the rhetoric, man, that's being spilled. You know what I'm saying? Accompanied with, what I'm saying, with the men, you know, being led by they, what I'm saying, by their desires, by their thirst and all that too, objectifying the woman as well and playing that part too. So I'm not gonna put it all on, what I'm saying, just the women, but it's a cultural problem, you know what I'm saying? We're not representing our women the right way, we're not treating our women the right way, and you know what I mean, we're not raising a future generation of females to aspire to be a virtuous woman. So if it falls on us all in its entirety. It's not like trying to bash women, you know what I'm saying? But it's, the father's got to be there too. But it's just, it's only gonna result in the same thing constantly happening. So at the end of the day, we're gonna have to address it. You know what I mean? We don't have to place blame, but we got to address it and we got to realize, because you know what I'm saying. The first part is that knowledge. So we need the knowledge. We need the knowledge as men. You need the knowledge as mothers. And we talking about right now. We talking about mothers. So specifically, you know what I'm saying. That, like you said, man, you're spending most of the time with the kids. You know what I'm saying. So you're doing that nurturing part. But you gotta understand what it is you're supposed to be giving them, and it's hard as humans because you're gonna pass off your emotional feelings and whatever thing, you know what I'm saying, from your past and stuff like that. But let's let wisdom guide you. Let's let these scriptures guide you. Let's let positive things guide you, and you put that into the kids. That would be my answer to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, indeed. No, and that becomes one of the problems. We're so rooted in white supremacy, we can't root ourselves in anything else. So the first thing is for our brothers and sisters, we have to come to a state of realization, such as, like, if you use the if you use the Neo analogy, from the Matrix, red pill, right knowledge. We got
Right.
to take that pill, not be afraid to take that pill, not be afraid to look at what's really going on in the world and the effects of it. So if we actually open our eyes and look at what's going on, you can see white supremacy in all facets and all activities and all aspects of people activity.
Yep.
And when we do that, we have to look at the educational aspect of what we've been taught and who
Right.
we learn these things from. So when we look at our sisters being objectified, our men objectifying our women, it wasn't like that in the beginning. I don't know if you remember EPMD and NWA and F the Police and things of that nature. We were using our music to promote, revolution, to promote empowerment, black
Mm-hmm.
empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's being used against us to degrade our women, do because
Mm-hmm.
we don't write the checks. You know what I'm saying? We
Right.
don't put the music on
And
the
there was
air.
always a little bit of that in hip hop, but yeah, I think the enemy has found a way to use that to hinder us more because now there's so much of us in it. And see, that's right. It's not just the music. It's so many what I call them normal failures that we get tied up in. And see, you got to understand that certain there is an entity of people that use this against us, like for instance, right? I'll give you an example. These normal failures, like they say the things that when they say, kids are gonna do these things, so just to make these bad decisions, to put their life in jeopardy, to do these things, and we as parents, society tells us as parents that we should accept these things, or we should don't go. You know what I mean? Kids are gonna do this. Like I think that kind of mind state that's keeping us away from the most high, because now what we're doing is we're adopting civilizations, what they're telling us how we should do, and we know where this civilization is headed. We know that the culture of this of the people that run this country is is devilish culture. They don't have no culture like what we trying to build as a people, and what we know, and what we aspire to be. So we can't, I think us as minorities, and when it comes to parenting, we got to parent our kids different. We got to be harsher. We can't let them fall victim to them normal failures, because risking their lives is different. So we can't listen to how society tells us how to raise our kids. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of our women do that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our we do that in our culture in general, because we don't have the knowledge. It could be either we don't have the knowledge to, you know what I'm saying, properly raise our kids, and so we only relying on what society says, or you know what I mean, we too engulfed in our own personal journeys and to do that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm guilty of both of them. I have been guilty of both of them things. You know what I'm saying? So still guilty
Indeed.
of the latter.
Well, and again, it comes down to what we were taught. So if we were taught to dishonor our parents, right? If we were taught to hate our women, hate our sisters, hate our brothers, hate each other, hate the person that looks like you, we were taught these things. It's not a myth. This is all actual fact that we were taught this thing. So if we were taught these things in our past, and now we fast forward to our present, we can see the adverse effects of slavery, right? That post traumatic slave disorder. We can see it right now in our people today. And then you fast forward to the 80s when crack epidemic hit, and then welfare was so prevalent. They were like, yo, they didn't want a man in the house if a woman was on welfare. So what did that do? That displaced the family right there by removing the man out of the equation. Whether and most families they still had the man in there. He just had to hide under the couch or hide behind the couch, hide in the closet. You know, and these days they wanted to search your crib and all of this stuff to make sure you didn't have a man in the house. All that did was perpetuate a woman, the black man and the black woman not being in the same household together because they all need financial assistance during this crack epidemic. You know,
Mhm.
so we got to look at these things and remember these things when we're talking about raising our children, and why it's imperative for us not to listen to the society or mass media when it come down to our children. You know, people say I find a lot of people say, "Oh, you shouldn't beat your children. It doesn't work." And most
Right.
people who say that don't have children. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Most people who say don't chastise your children don't have children because
Mhm.
under the system of white supremacy, it's either you cry now, or they cry now for being chastising them, teaching them discipline, or you cry later when the world get their hands on your children, and the
Right.
world will get their hands on your children. You
That's a
know,
fact. And you give them that, and also you give them that easy life. You want to just see them happy when they're kids. Then all you're doing is spoiling them against themselves, because now they're gonna have a bunch of disappointment, a bunch of heartache, and they're gonna have an angry adult life, because once they realize that they're never gonna be able to to get that constantly through life. You spoiling them and giving them whatever they ask for and reacting to that's never gonna happen during their real life. So you setting them up for failure, wasted expectations, and stress and frustration. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so you know what I mean. What you want to do is, and it's a difficult thing. Like, you know what I mean. So I'm gonna keep saying it's not a matter of like pointing the finger or nothing like that. It's this is an intellectual dialogue. This is just something to, you know what I mean. Let's
for us to
grow.
think
Let's
about and talk
grow.
about.
Yeah, let's get better. Let's
And
focus on getting better, not being right or wrong.
and and that's the thing. I can, you know, when we in the spirit of we talking about Mother's Day and mothers, it's like, you know, when you look at the disconnect between a mother and a daughter, or mother-in-laws against daughter-in-laws, when we look at this disconnect, it has to we have to be more we have to look deeper into the surface, you know, of just their particular issues, because this is all over the world, especially amongst our community. That is a distinction between black mothers and black daughters, or black mother-in-laws versus black daughters-in-law. It's always been an issue. So it's not just that right there. There's no reason. It has to be something deeper than that. And when we look deeper into it, we can see clearly that this is what's been taught to us. So we have to wash our brains and become brainwashed, become rooted in something other than white supremacy. Because if you're not actively speaking or actively speaking against white supremacy in all its ways, then you're just a participant by proxy, by acquiescence. We participate in white supremacy. When you disrespect your mother, when you curse your mother out, cause all kind of bees, you're participating in white supremacy just by doing something so small as that, whether you even know it or not. You know?
Exactly. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And parenting, listen, it does, and a lot of times it does reflect on, you know what I'm saying, how we was raised. Because a lot of times we going you know what I mean, adopt those same principles that our parents told us. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I would just say, at some point in adulthood, it comes a responsibility of you as the person, especially us people had that have that has been disenfranchised, that have been taken from our land, who our culture has been, I mean, been robbed of our culture. Especially those people, we have a larger responsibility to do that due diligence of getting that knowledge, man, getting that knowledge of who we are, where we come from, and how we supposed to live, how we supposed to raise our babies. You know what I'm saying? So it comes like, you gotta, all right, you're a person, you're alive. You got, God gave you, you know what I'm saying? You got arms, legs, you got a good working mental, if everything, like, you know what I'm saying? If you're able to follow this nonsense, then that's your responsibility to find out what it is that we should be doing, or how could we, especially when you having kids, how can we be an attribute to this planet that we living on, to this life that we are blessed with, man. instead of being a hazard. Like, how can I raise somebody to not be, you know what I mean, dependent on others and be self sufficient, to be a creator, to be strong? Like, it's that simple. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or you want to waste your life and then bring more time wasting nobodies in, and don't teach them nothing and just let them, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of dudes is doing that, you know, just procreating and keeping it moving, planting seeds with no water, no sunlight. But we can't do that.
Exactly. No, indeed, that's why it's a collective effort. When we talking about, if you talk about mothers, you have to talk about fathers. It's a compensatory law. It's a pendulum swing. You can't talk about one without the other. So, when we looking at the state of our men, we can adversely look at the state of our women, and vice versa. So we can look at our women and see that the white supremacist media and all the subsidiaries has devalued black women to the point where black women don't want to look like themselves anymore. As the brother Dr. Greenprint spoke on a couple weeks back, how our sisters puts on, change the color of their hair, because ultimately I believe it's a deeper rooted issue right there. The standard of beauty has always been a white woman, skinny white woman with blonde hair, has always been the standard of beauty. And I feel like when you look at the state of our men, us being so destroyed, it has no choice but to destroy the women by proxy. And the white supremacists is always the one thing that they fear is a black man and a black woman being united as one and raising their children as one family. You know,
Right.
so we have to take these things into consideration when we look at the history of our people and the state of our women as well as our men. So I give you the floor though.
Now that's a fact, bro. I totally
Do
agree.
we have any sisters that can that want to offer an opinion? By all means,
Yeah,
please jump in and don't be afraid to offer an opinion.
yeah. I got a mother supposed to be tapping in too.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. Even men, women, brothers and sisters, please tap in. This is a dialogue. It's not just a one way conversation. All right. Oh, shout out to the brother Boss. He just jumped in the building. Yeah, yeah. Shout out to the brother. All right.
Boss.
Yeah, yeah. This good brother. He owns a moving company in Arizona.
Oh,
Uh,
shout out
uh,
to Boss. Shout out to
hey,
my
hey, Boss,
local
if you listening,
fellow mover.
tap in your business info, man, so we can help promote your business, man. And
Yeah.
bro, send us
Financial freedom. We're
your
gonna be
info.
doing two on the Fridays. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day,
Yes, indeed.
bro. Let's build on being the best mothers. We want to know who's the, So jump in the comments if you next this next too.
Yeah. The brother company name is DC Movers. So you can just Google him, DC Movers. If you're in the Arizona region, he travels, he moves around. If you need him to come to New York and move you, if the price is right, he'll make it happen. So by all means, please tap in with the brother DC Movers. Ask for Boss. Ask for Boss, and then, you know, tell them intellectual dialogue sent you. All right,
Yeah,
all praise. All praise,
yes
yeah.
sir, yes sir. Yeah, businessman. That's it. Yeah, we got the financial freedom joints coming too. So we're gonna be building with a lot of brothers and trying to help the bros, trying to help some bros get to the bag, man. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
all of these things, revolve around the wisdom. So right along with the parenting, because we wanna give that to the babies too, man. You wanna teach them how to be self sufficient. You wanna teach them things that they ain't teaching in school. Um, so
You
I'm
know,
waiting for his
I
mother
I,
to tap
I want
in.
I want to bring something out real quick, right? As I was saying earlier, like, there was a time when our women were trying to obtain, to be a wife, to be a good mother. These roles are virtuous roles. And Proverbs 31:10 states, "Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies." So the worth of a virtuous woman, of a virtuous woman, is far beyond material wealth, far beyond rubies, diamonds, gold. Is beyond that. So I want you to really wrap your head around this, brother. If our women, they don't value themselves as virtuous women, they don't see themselves as virtuous women, because it conflicts with their ideologies that they've been programmed with. A virtuous woman conflicts with the ideology of WAP. You know what I'm saying? A virtuous woman conflicts with the ideology of, don't have sex with a man unless he got a bag or he got a nice car or some vain
Mhm.
reason.
Mhm.
There's no virtue in that. You understand what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
and and as the scriptures tells us, a virtuous woman is worth more than rubies.
Mhm.
You know, you got anything on that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, bro. I agree. Right, because and that's because they don't see the benefits of the virtual woman. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you about the song that this girl got. They think the hoes be winning. You know what I'm saying? So they like, what am I getting out of? You know what I'm saying? Just being this virtuous woman and not, the same way as me. Being disciplined is hard. So we talking about denying yourself things that you want. You know what I'm saying? So we all lust after things. We just look at it. A woman's disposition is supposed to be, more secluded than a man. So to see a woman stepping out like that, it seems more, something more crazy, I guess. But
Yeah,
it's
it,
the same
it,
thing.
it is crazy when sexuality is promoted to our children, but this is not a new phenomenon. You
No,
understand? Even if you look back in
nothing new
the
on this.
20s and 30s, and even prior to that, the 1800s, you can see that they've always promoted always sexualized our children. Because again, the white supremacy kid is not about me and you that's 40 years old. They worrying about that child. They want that child that's 40 days old. You
Hmm.
understand what I'm saying? They
Hmm.
want that child's mind. They already destroyed us. They did their job with us.
Hmm.
So those of us that's woke and speaking against white supremacy, it's a lot of facets. It's not just one particular argument, one particular field of battle. We have to look at all things, but essentially, especially when it comes down to our women and the raising of our children and the protection of our women, the protection of our children, which ultimately means the protection of our family, which goes to the community, which goes to our nation as a people. We have to protect them. We have to teach them and enlighten them. You know, I think we got a sister about to tap in. You got that, brother?
Okay, yeah. I'll
Yeah.
just send it to another.
But let me hit you with this other scripture real quick. It says, as verse 10 just said, who can find or Proverbs 31 verse 10 says, who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. So when you have a virtuous woman, you know, the husband, her husband, even now for today's society, even the boyfriend, when a man finds a virtuous woman, even that so-called boyfriend, husband, fiance, whatever, he trusts in her. She becomes his closest confidant. She may not be his best friend, but she definitely becomes his closest. She becomes the closest confidant, because we all can testify that to our women. We talk to our women, and we enlighten them. We tell them our thoughts. We tell them our deepest thoughts and our deepest feelings and our hurts and our pains and our problems and our dreams and ambitions, our hopes. So a virtuous woman will take this information, and the man, knowing that she is a virtuous woman, will trust in her. He will trust his heart to her to share these things with her, which ultimately will grow a better relationship between said man and said woman, to be a better family union for that child, and then them as a unit become a productive member of our society, meaning to better our society, meaning black people as a whole, as a people group. But I want to tap in the sister.
Right. I
If
want to tap this sister, and she wanna. We got a mom. You know what I mean? So we've been giving out our what I mean, our suggestions. I'm gonna give a take on it. Experienced mother. She's raised 4 kids. Two out of the house, two win. So this is a second round, I guess. Second round parent. Let's boy and girl both times. So yeah, let's get some insight. We want to say Happy Mother's Day.
Happy
Welcome
Mother's
to
Day.
the show.
Shalom, shalom.
Thank you. I would like to just add in on some of the things that you guys was speaking about. Like the first thing that really comes to mind is following the right person, because at the end of the day, if you're not with the right mate, or a mate that has common sense, or a mate that's even willing to sacrifice, because it takes a lot of sacrifice into parenting. And I know you guys are saying y'all not bashing, but we really just have to accept the fact that there's a lot of men out there that's not doing their part. It's a lot of sisters that's not doing their part either. But it if we're gonna speak the facts, it starts there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I definitely agree with you. I definitely agree with you. And that's what we were
Real,
saying.
real quick, I want to get you real quick. I want you to open. I want to open with that question. That's on the screen. What's a good mother to you, in your opinion?
Yeah, and your definition of defining what's a good mother.
There's no right or wrong answer. It's just your opinion.
I feel that a good mother will pertain someone who cares about their child, is willing to, and by caring is not just trying to be a friend, not just trying to hang, not just trying to buy them stuff. You got to care enough to correct them when they're wrong, care enough to hold them responsible for things in life. So the caring part, it kind of entails to a lot of stuff. You really have to be intuitive that at the end of the day, it's something greater than yourself. It's you have to care for something greater than yourself. And unfortunately, we have a lot of women out there that may call themselves moms who really don't care about their kids. They think buying the kids stuff and doing stuff like that is essential, and it's not. We have a lot of young kids that's growing up that think it's cool to curse at adults, that think it's cool to be disrespectful, that actually gets praised. Everybody laugh, all the dumb adults around laughing when the kids saying, "Oh, fuck you, bitch." Ooh, excuse my language. I'm just,
Yeah. Right. So,
but that it kind of, and it really is a mind state, because it has nothing to do with money, but just your ability to want more for your child. I feel that that's a big thing, because there are some parents who, what would be the word,
maybe.
sabotage stuff for their kids. You know what I'm saying? When they see their kids doing a little better than them, and trying to reach for different things, kind of pulling back. So you gotta want to let your kids soar. You gotta want to let your kids fly, but you also got to be willing to put in that the responsibility of that, and that's like teaching them right from wrong, teaching them things that they're not going to learn in school, teaching them really about themselves, teaching them about finances, because that's something that nobody, I know back in my days when I was growing up, that was something that nobody kind of talked to us. You got to kind of wing it, figure it out yourself. And that's one of the main things that I feel that I would like to install into the kids is financing, dealing with financing, being able to bank, being able to balance your account, whether you are spendaholic or not. If you spend too much money out of it, now you have to deal with the consequences of that.
Okay. Yeah, from all aspects. Okay. Okay. I know. I think you muted, bro.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know, I know. I got a question I want to ask you. What do you say about about the media? When I say media, I'm saying all encompassing movies, TV, music, whatever. How do you feel about the state of them devaluing the black woman and the black woman's womb?
I know that it's bigger than just the media and stuff, unfortunately, I feel it starts at home. And just from the difference of music, I'll say, like when Tupac was singing Dear Mama, or even Brenda's Got a Baby, shedding light to the things that's unfortunate in our community, versus the songs that we hear now, Throat Babies, and the ratchetness. I ain't gonna lie, I can't even, that Third Babies one's just stick in my head, because I just can't believe that it's acceptable for them to put that kind of music and the girls just down with it, just dancing and jamming to it. So I'm old school, and I feel It starts at home. It really starts with the brothers. You made a good point of how they started breaking up the families, taking the men out the homes. But unfortunately, the men is being okay with being out the homes. The men is not doing anything to get back into the homes. The men, not all, but a lot of them are okay being second in the what's name. They don't know their role. They don't know their part. So of course, when you don't know your role, when you don't know your part, it's easy to be influenced by media. It's easy to be influenced by television and music and stuff like that because you don't actually know who you are. So even though you brothers, if you don't have young men, or if you do have young men, it's bigger than just teaching your sons. You have to teach your nephews. You have to teach your nephews' friends. You have to, you know what I'm saying? You actually have to start pouring. I come from an era where it takes a
It's a
community,
village.
and it's a
Mhm.
difference in how people react to adults, how people react to my neighbor would have knocked me silly had I would have been doing anything less than what I'm supposed to be doing, and then tell my mother, and my mother would have knocked me silly too. Now you say something to somebody, child, being disrespectful, just doing anything. The parents want to fight you. The parents have an issue with it. You know what I'm saying? And it's at the end of the day, who
Sure.
wants to parent someone else? Child. I don't want to have to say nothing to your kid. But at the end of the day, you're clearly not doing your job. So I am, as a righteous person, I am going to interject, and I am going to say something, and I am going to speak about it, because I'm not going to just allow mediocrity or BS or anything just to happen around me just in the sake of, oh hey,
No,
let's just hang with it.
no, I'm not even gonna lie. That's great. That's one of the greatest points brought up, man. The fact what you said, like it takes a village, and you can't, and you like you said, you can't just look out for your son. You got to look out for your nephew. You got to look out for your friend's son, like because especially right now when we're behind the eight ball, because it's like, listen, we're a majority of us are not doing thinking and moving the right way. So therefore, like they say out here, I moved to Atlanta, and everybody knows the ratio of women to men, and oh, it's 7-1, it's 4-1, this and that. Yeah, it's that ratio is more ratio of fatherless children out there. You know what I'm saying? So instead of picking up an extra girl, you know what I mean? Let's think about where you can pick up an extra kid, where you can save an extra life. You know what I'm saying? Where you could feed an extra person, because that concept right there is a main ingredient for the recipe for us success, man. We got to take from the strength that we have, and we got to spread that more, man. I love that statement, man. Don't just look out for your sons, look out for your nephews, look out for your little cousins, look out for everybody's son that's around you. If we took that approach, if we cared about the person next to us, man, we'd be in a better situation.
And I
Man.
guess I'm just saying that's one of the qualities I'll say as a mom, because I'm sorry, I don't care who kid I see. If I see somebody kid doing something, I'm gonna say something to you, and I'm gonna say something to your parent. Y'all don't have to like me. You don't take it how you want to take it. I don't care. That's I feel like I'm not doing my duty as a human being or a citizen of this thing that we call Earth if I allow people to do nonsense around me. Sorry.
Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm.
No,
And
and say this real quick, bro. And,
yeah,
and indeed, we should, and that's because we lack a code. As black people, we lack a code. We are the only people who do not have a code. When we talk about white supremacy has a code. When we talk about Chinese people have a code. I mean, let's be realistic. When the last time you seen a Chinese person go into a black business? It, they have a code not to support black people businesses. This is factual. Now, every now and then you'll get a sprinkle every now and then, but truth be told, when the last time you seen a Japanese dude at a black owned barbecue spot or a black owned barber shop or a black owned anything? They have a code not to do that. Black people, we have no code. As brother Boz said, it was a village raising a child before the 80s. So before the 80s, it used to be a community driven era where we raised each other's children, where we looked out for each other's children. 80s came, crap epidemic, welfare, no black men in the house, black men going to jail left and right, dudes is getting killed. So it's either you became a drug dealer, you became a crackhead, or you was in jail. That's the main three. And then every now and then, every so many houses, they might have did have a father in the house, but it wasn't enough to sustain a community, to sustain the children within the community. So, this is how we in the place where we at now, where we're destroyed as a people now, where our women was promoted, like you said, the throat baby song, where that's promoted to our daughters. You
Right.
know what I'm
And I
saying?
think it's always been some negativity in hip hop if you go in certain genres. But I think right now it's what it is a mass. Like we had a balance before. Like you may have had two live crew, but we still had Tribe Called Quest, and we still had Positive Brothers. Now it's like you just got straight two live crew, and then like you got no Public Enemy, you got no like you know what I mean. So they're just saturating it now with the ignorance. So, you know what I'm saying? Because you think back all generations, it was always that. So and sometimes we get sidetracked like that. Oh, what these kids listen to now? Back in my day, back in your day, it was put it in your mouth and it was reckless stuff, but it just wasn't as saturated as it is now, and you wasn't as conscious as you are now. You know what I'm saying? So mixed with that, and then we got to pass that down to the you know what I'm saying, to the next generation. It's a constant grind being a parent, and then we talk about these bases. Like I know for me, I say the Bible, and I say the scriptures, and I say the Most High has helped ground me. I know. Some people, and then everybody ain't of the Most High. So, but that's another story. But what I will say is some people may need something and they may not have enough knowledge to grasp onto God and still may be trying to understand certain things, right? And you may need a point of focus to start right now. So we want to give you I don't want to give you another alternative other than God because I ain't here for that. I think all things is possible through God and I won't give you another alternative. But what we could try to do is help people understand things in a realm that they may be more, understand more, what I mean, more susceptible to understand in that tone. So when it comes to religious and stuff like that, if you're not grounded fully there, then the thing is teaching your kids things to help them survive, right? And all things come back to that Bible, but just breaking away and tackling one thing at a time. These economic things, these things of discipline, these things the things we got to look at it like this: the things that they need to survive, and the characteristics. You got to have certain recipes, right, to win. And those recipes for us to win is things like you got to have a strong work ethic, right? You got to have a sense of responsibility. You got to have integrity and things like this. So these are the things that we want to teach our kids, and these are the things that we want to instill into them, and we want to hold them responsible for doing progressive things and being righteous, and teaching them to lean on their to learn and try to discover things rather than to fall into a trap or fall into a pattern that society has made to them. You know what I'm saying? Because that child mind is so impressionable, right? But it's also, how they say those children have that sense of invincibility, right? But sometimes what the world do, when you pay attention to certain things, you notice that sometimes what the world do can weigh so much pressure on you, and it may hurt your motivation. You may feel like you can't do these things. So certain kids may feel like they can't do these things, and the kids are gonna want to fit in. You know what I mean? So we gotta oversee that as parents. And a big thing too is time. And like I said, I suffer with that because I try to work hard. I'm trying to build businesses. I'm trying to catch up for things that I messed up in my life by, what I'm saying, getting involved with streets and gangs and all of that stuff. So my time is limited, and well, I have to do a better job on time management, but the time is not always there. I don't always see the time to spend with my kids to instill in them the things that I want them to have too, which leads me to leave them in society certain times, or leave them to surf the internet for sometimes too long because they picking up things, or sometimes in those bad situations. So we deal with that as parents too, but we gotta strive for time management. We gotta take these things piece by piece and tackle these things and put them together, and that's how we get better. And that's what we want. Just don't just want to say. We want to give suggestions on how we can get better, or what push in directions, or plant seeds of ideas that can help us go towards directions to get better without going on too long.
I got you. Talish, you got anything on what the brother just said?
Yeah, and it's also too like little small things of appreciation. If you do have somebody in your corner that's supporting you, holding it down and stuff like that. I know life goes on, and I guess the simple things people think take for granted. So just little signs of appreciation goes a long way. You're talking about how the woman is disrespected, unappreciated. We That would be a whole another topic, a whole nother day to
That is
sit and talk about all the areas. But just as us speaking together and trying to rebuild our community, that's one of the things. Little tokens of appreciation, of just thank you, or simple doing little tasks maybe for your significant other or something. Know that there's no food in the house, and it's Mother's Day weekend. Maybe you will want to go food shopping, so that way, just small things.
praise
So,
the woman. Yeah, it works both ways too. We got it. Y'all got a lot on y'all shoulders, and and that's why that was one that wasn't the worst idea that the supremacists came up with was Mother's Day. You know what I mean? Maybe not to go establish, maybe not to go spend so much money in their businesses. We could, but to give that love and give the flowers to the mother. You know what I'm saying? And I would say appreciate that too. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not always you can get material things always, and then sometimes people show love in different ways, so you gotta appreciate it. You can't say out. That's the thing. Sometimes in relationships in general, not even just parenting, you want somebody to treat you how you would treat them, maybe, but it's different ways that people do things, and you know what I'm saying when it comes to receiving love and giving.
Let me let me
You
let me
know,
pose the question to you. What's your definition, brother, of a good mother?
um, someone that someone that's objectively pushes you to be great and helps you guide you because you know what I'm saying. Not somebody just provides you everything. I don't care if your mother pack your snack every day and give you lunch and then tell you, oh, she love you and kiss you and you the greatest. That's not a good mother to me. You know what I'm saying? Holding holding yourself because you got women, man. Like look at mothers like Kevin Durant mother, LeBron James mother. Look how great these men, and these are single mothers, man. These are single mothers that ain't had no father in it. If you listen to these men talk about their mothers, man, you see how KD got up there and said his mother was the real MVP, man. And you see what she wasn't coddling, she wasn't enabling, she wasn't doing like a lot of our mothers do, man. A lot of in our culture, man. She was pushing, like a lot of us do too, like a lot of us do too. It work both ways, but she was pushing. She wasn't holding. You know what I mean? You didn't have a father there, but she was taking that strong role. She was nurturing, but also demanding. You know what I mean? So you got to be both. You got to be nurturing, but you got to be demanding. And sometimes when you don't have a male in the house, which is too often with our case, the women's lines get the mother's lines get blurred with the lack of with the men issues that she may have, and it may be a little bit of overcompensation with not holding them men that responsible, or sometimes it be overcompensation with holding them too responsible. So it works both ways too, but it got to be balanced.
Okay, Talisha, let me ask you this, Talisha. Now, when we talking about fathers not being in the household with with mothers and raising their children and stuff, how much accountability is put on a woman to pick her battles wiser, to make better decisions with the type of man that she chooses to lay down with? Well, let's start there. Is it before we even deal with the children situation? Is it not the onus is on the woman to say, "Hey, sister, look at the type of man you're choosing to have a
You
child with. Look at
going
the type
there?
of man you're laying down with." So I want to get your opinion on that. What do you say? At what point do we ask our sisters to what type of man do you choose to deal with?
okay,
So
again, it seems like you're turning into the sisters, but let's just state facts. At what point do we tell our brothers, hey, bro, get out the club and start taking care of your kid? Hey, bro, get out the club. This baby mama number six. Come on now. You think it's time to wrap it up? At what point do we tell that to our brothers? Because at the end of the day, it takes two to tango. Okay, let's just state that as a fact. Okay, and 9 times out of 10, the men are lying, deceiving, tricking, manipulating these women's. We ain't all fucking Jack the Dummy. Okay, let's just state the facts. We ain't Jack the Dummy. Nigga tell you a whole bunch of lies to get in between your legs, and once he in between your legs, a new person forms. Okay, so let's state that. Let's state us actually representing ourselves to who we are and who we really are selling ourselves to be, instead of selling lies and make believes to these women.
cool. I got you now. Nobody's arguing that point. That's a straw man argument. We all agree to that. So now back to the original question. What do you say to sisters about their choice in the men? Because let's be clear about this: men pick, but women choose. We look at a woman, we pick the end. If it's 10 women, we look at a woman, we pick which one we're interested in. She determines if it goes any further than hello, how you doing. She makes that decision, and she makes every decision from that point on, regardless of the facade that men may put up, and the lies and deceit that a man may portray to the sister. That's irrelevant.
Well, I
The
can't
choice
really
is still
speak on
hers.
other sisters. I can speak on myself, and I know that unfortunately, again, it definitely starts with the men. These fatherless women that's out there looking for something that they're never
Well,
gonna
what would
find
you tell
because
your
the fact.
daughter
Oh,
in regards to
oh,
religion?
now that's a different question. I thought you was talking about people in general.
That's what I
Right,
asked.
what
No,
would you
that's
tell
what
your
that's
Oh,
daughter?
what
oh,
we
now,
stated
You
the
but
said
I
you
sister.
told
got to
my
make it
daughter
right.
because then now it
Your
goes to
daughter do?
something more particular. Okay.
Right, your
At the
daughter.
end of the day, I'm teaching my daughter to be independent. She's not going to need a man for anything, but yet and still, she can be submissive to a man that will be able to lead her, lift her, elevate her. And at the end of the day, she's never going to be dumbing herself down for a man because a lot of us women, we too smart, we know too much, and we dumb ourselves down to be with someone. At the end of the day, when God aligns you with the right person, they will only elevate you, want you to be better. They will not want to make you smaller. So I'm going to tell my daughter at the end of the day, she has a light to shine. And God, with God's help, she'll be able to shine and do not allow any of these knucklehead, dirty ASS boys to dim her light.
Okay. Now, I would say that that's perfect, and I agree with that. But and that comes it comes all full circle back to parenting because because to keep those women on that track, right? Two things have to happen. They have to be raised by a man like that, by a sent man, and that sent man has that's another thing that's in Proverbs. You know what I mean? It tells you about the diligence that it takes to raise a daughter, to raise a woman. You know what I mean? In this world, so that she is wise enough to choose the right man, to recognize a sent man, and not fall for the traps of the, you know what I'm saying, and not fall for that serpent. You know what I mean? So that it comes to that too. You know what I'm saying? So um, and that's just the bottom line. I can't even ain't even a way to double back around that one. That's what it comes down to. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
and indeed, that's just like we're arguing right now. What comes first, the chicken or the egg?
exactly type.
And
Mhm.
the fact that the fact is, as a people, we have to admit some certain truths and face some certain truths that we are destroyed as a people. And once you come to that realization, you understand that everything you think you know and everything you do know is incorrect. You know what I'm
Basically,
saying? So when we can come to that understanding, then we can start rebuilding and rebuild our children. Start with our generation now. You
we might
guys.
as well start taking us home on that end because it ain't even we almost about an hour and it ain't too much to tap on after that. That's the answer. We
Yeah,
might repeat that and everybody could give their final thoughts, man. We can
yeah.
move on.
So ultimately,
Beating a dead horse.
I got you, bro. Ultimately, I just was stating, because we're destroyed, we have to reevaluate everything, every single thing we think we know. I mean, people calling themselves Pisces 2 months ago, and now the white supremacists then added another astrology sign. So now you're no longer a Pisces, and all the stuff that applied to you your whole life, you've been thinking you're a Pisces. Now you're Aries because the white supremacist says so. You know what I'm
Now
saying?
you gotta act different.
Right. So what does that tell you is that it tells you that we're destroyed and everything that we think we know is incorrect. Okay, so we got to reevaluate how we deal with our sisters, how our sisters are to deal with our brothers. And the main thing is this: no communication. The first part of the code is no communication unless it's of constructive value. So a man and a woman reproducing is of constructive value. You understand? What you talk about outside of that should be about constructive value. Building businesses. How can you help me as my wife get a better job or get in a better situation, and vice versa. Productive, constructive constructive conversations, which lead to constructive actions.
And coming together for a purpose other than the fact that y'all both cute. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Coming together with a purpose, coming together with a real purpose, other than, you know what I mean, making each other feel good.
Well, I
That is
realized
a
this,
good thing.
I guess a while back, and it guess would pertain to this. Um, Butterflies and moths are pretty much the same species. It's like one thing that changes them from being a butterfly or being a moth. But one thing changes them from being a butterfly or being a moth is it elevates them to a whole different species. And now butterflies are day creatures, moths are night creatures. So it just helped me to realize at the end of the day, it doesn't matter brother, mother, sister. If you mix in with the wrong species, you're not gonna get what you need to get.
Right.
Being that if you, and it's sad, like class systems and stuff like that, at the end of the day, or even as it goes down to you are what you eat. All these sayings kind of make sense as I get older. I'm not gonna eat certain things, put certain stuff into my body that's not gonna be good to my body. Just like I'm not gonna hang and be around certain energies when I know that's not good for my body. So honestly, that's really what I'm trying to teach the youth. That it doesn't matter what relation you have to this person. If that person doesn't give you a sense of purpose, if that person doesn't uplift you and make you feel good, you don't actually have to be in communication with those people. You don't actually have to be friends with those people. You don't actually have to waste time with those people. And that's basically what I'm on and trying to teach my youth.
No, indeed, and it sounds like what you're talking about is the law of compensation. You know what I'm saying? The law of compensation. Where there is light, there is darkness. Where there's darkness, there's light. You know, where there's positivity, there's negativity. So teaching our people and about a simple concept of compensatory law, meaning what you do. You know, we all heard it. To every action is an equal and opposite reaction. This is just simple stuff. So when we talk about the actions of the what the white supremacy has done to destroy us, right? What has been the reaction? What has been the compensatory action that transpired because of the experience that we have in this place called America? You know, and it's always been to attack our children. It's always been to attack our children. Homosexuality in cartoons today to attack our children. So no matter what, we cannot raise our children correctly if this is the type of stuff that we feed them. You know, like you said, you are what you eat. If we feed our children TV shows that promote homosexuality, that promote murder, you know, if we feed our children things that promotes negativity, our children is only gonna go that route because that's what we fed them with. You know, we fed them with the lies and the propaganda of white supremacy, and we got to stop doing that. So, but with that, I'm gonna sign off and I'll pass it off to you guys.
Yeah. With that, man, I'll be if you got anything you want to close out with, sister, you want to say anything? You want to give some final thoughts? Some Happy Mother's Day. So we're gonna wrap this up. We about this hour.
I'm gonna close it off on Tupac. Keep your head up.
Mm, that's dope. Keep your head up, y'all. And I just say Happy Mother's Day to the mothers out there. It starts with knowledge, right? So let's get the right knowledge, and that's going to be the catalyst to empower us to reciprocate that. You know, give that off to the youngins, man. So, and let's hold each other accountable. And I'm gonna take from today that idea that you said, sister, and it ain't just about your son. It's about your nephew, your brother's son, the kid next to you, the kids around you. So
All
I
right,
think
with that,
that we out. Happy Mother's Day. Another
shalom.
intellectual dialogue.